In this video, we will discuss some recent findings about the true creator of Bitcoin. In the XRP community, there is continual conjecture about whether there is a relationship between David Schwartz and Art de Brito. Over this, I'd like to talk about a new document that was recently discovered and how it relates to certain things we already know about David Schwartz. Continue reading to the end to find out more. If this sounds like something you'd be interested in, make sure to watch this new video right now. Hello and welcome to our channel, where we discuss the newest XRP news and the cryptocurrency world in general. If you are watching one of our videos for the first time, we will gladly offer you a special greeting. We encourage you to enable notifications so you never miss any video. We are pleased to announce that this channel is hosting a 200 XRP giveaway. To be eligible to participate, simply subscribe to the channel, like this video, and comment with the hashtag XRP. The winner will be notified on September 30th. The debate piques my interest. It will help you grasp how these two cryptocurrencies are positioned as we move to the next generation of financial systems, which is where I'd like you to go. Straight into the video and discussing the recently disclosed paper that has many people believing that the NSA designed Bitcoin. Similar documents have been shown to me previously. They were, however, significantly more extensive. Most of them didn't get into what I'm about to show you is that they mostly didn't. Just consider the encryption protocol that Bitcoin employs first and foremost. The title of this article is extremely intriguing. It explains the cryptography of anonymous electronic money and how to make a mint. The source is then evident down here, NSA personnel, with Tatsuki Akimono mentioned as one among them. The sources in this study are also really intriguing, as they sound similar to Satoshi Nakamoto, the guy who founded Bitcoin. Therefore, this is a very interesting paper. The title of the NSA report is fascinating. Furthermore, in the 1990s, long before Bitcoin was even created, the NSA employees who developed the protocol that protected the Bitcoin network and employed sources with whom they have a very close relationship directly cited its name. Satoshi Nakamoto's name is unmistakably unique. I've never heard anything like it before. So it appears that there was some relationship between what the NSA is doing and how Bitcoin was eventually developed, as evidenced by the fact that we have a very similar title for this paper. So let me briefly address a few topics relating to this first. I don't believe the NSA invented Bitcoin, which seems a lot more likely. That a former NSA employee who later detached from the government and independently came up with a notion after saying that I think it's critical to recognize that everyone is aware of who invented Bitcoin. A former NSA employee would never be allowed to quit the organization and create something similar to Bitcoin without the general population discovering what it is. There were not many people on the planet who were aware of this information. This alone should indicate that government employees were involved in the development of the Bitcoin concept. They were openly discussing the creation of anonymous electronic cash using the Bitcoin encryption standard. In other words, the concept of Bitcoin, as we know it today, was developed in a government building. This begs the question of who the Bitcoin creator and NSA employee who had access to this information could have been. However, we have evidence that David Schwartz did distribute a patent. Ledger technology was introduced in 1988, therefore this was completed before any of the others. This was made public by the fact that David Schwartz, who worked officially for the NSA. The other thing we know is that it happened at the same time as the creation of this document. That is undoubtedly another aspect of this situation, as documents from NSA personnel discussing the use of cryptography technology to produce anonymous money eventually led to the creation of Bitcoin and began to emerge from the organization when David Schwartz was employed at the NSA. The third piece of information is that David Schwartz is a Bitcoin public adopter. David Schwartz has already stated that it was someone else who invented Bitcoin, not me. He has, nevertheless, gone out of his way to argue that even if I invented Bitcoin, I would not come clean about it. Therefore, the fact that the facts concur is truly what fascinates me. What we do know is that the NSA knew about Bitcoin long before it existed, and they weren't only referring to the previously published document that explained Bitcoin's encryption standard. No, they're talking about the invention of electronic money using these encryption standards that eventually evolved into Bitcoin. Additionally, Tasuki Nakamoto's name was directly listed on this document, and the information simply sounds too similar to Satoshi's. It appears that Nakamoto should be ignored. Satoshi Nakamoto, whoever he or she was, became involved in the production of this document and assumed the moniker Satoshi. About the citation, Nakamoto. The second thing we know is that when this was happening, David Schwartz, an early Bitcoin enthusiast, was working directly at this agency on the same project. David Schwartz was brought to the NSA after coming up with a patent for roughly 5 to 10 years earlier to work on a project like this. This was being created while he was present, and we learned that Bitcoin was created using the same standards as this paper. Whether David Schwartz worked directly with other folks or accomplished this on his own, it appears obvious. It was clear to me that he was extremely early in the evolution of what Bitcoin is presently. I honestly feel that this settles the debate over whether XRP or Bitcoin is superior, which is why I believe it is so important to understand. David Schwartz was engaged in this from the start. He was present when Bitcoin was created before Bitcoin was ever constituted, and he witnessed it. He saw everything that was going on behind the scenes, and every notion was completely aware of Bitcoin's beginnings, production method, components, and what he ultimately decided. Was it his choice between continuing to develop Bitcoin and attempting to create something new? He resolved to attempt to develop something better. David Schwartz observed the genesis of Bitcoin, as well as its faults. He fleshed it out, saw everything that could go wrong with Bitcoin in the future, and understood that there were better options. The decision was made to create the XRP ledger, a new version of Bitcoin that would operate more efficiently. He would never be able to make the perfect cryptocurrency on your first try. In all honesty, you couldn't make the perfect cryptocurrency on your second try either, but it will be a lot better than your first. And given that he has been forced to use XRP for the past 10 years, David Schwartz has demonstrated that he does not believe there is a next best cryptocurrency. The major reason I'm paying attention to this is that David Schwartz is without a doubt one of the most intelligent people in the world when it comes to this technology. I'll never be able to understand it better, no matter how hard I try, than the man who has seen everything. However, 110 is certain that Bitcoin will not be the answer. All I have to do is look at where he works and what he considers valuable, as well as what he feels will dominate our future financial system. This fascinates me for two reasons. To begin, there are surely some fascinating links to Bitcoin's inception. Second, many Bitcoin miners who are continually claiming that XRP will not succeed Bitcoin and that Bitcoin will be the only cryptocurrency in the world will not pay attention to the man who I saw as the architect of Bitcoin's whole existence, and realized that he would not be the solution. This, in my perspective, clearly indicates where the real value in this envisioned financial system rests as one of the primary architects of what Bitcoin was. David Schwartz looked at it and exclaimed, "No way, this thing is too slow. It's far too ineffective. Even if it may be useful in the future, no system will ever be altered with it. We require instant money. What we need is effective currency. The most important thing we need is money that does not require tremendous amounts of energy to conduct fundamental transactions. The solution to all of this is cryptocurrency." Was the XRP ledger the very first XRP? The main goal of Ledger was to outperform. Bitcoin was required to properly develop a cryptocurrency that could achieve its desired goal. To eliminate all the problems and try to introduce new features here. I'd like to underline that David Schwartz has been associated with XRP since it was mentioned in section. It wasn't like Bitcoin to him when he first built it, and he soon realized that it wouldn't be able to achieve what he wanted it to. He recognizes that XRP is now the best technology for attaining a decentralized global rabbit, thus he is stuck with it. This is a fascinating discovery. I had a lot of pleasure reading through this and drawing connections to discover how closely this relates to David Schwartz, who, in my opinion, is fascinating. There is a lot more to learn about this. It is not directly tied to David Schwartz, but I think it's insane to minimize how vital he was in the process. At the outset, we can see where David Schwartz stands on loyalty. My vote goes to the individual who has been working on this for more than 30 years. Anyway, thank you very much, fellas. I hope you enjoyed this update while you were here.